Hi, creepies. I am Reanimate Her.
I know, it just sounds like a porno all of a sudden. Some zombies start stripping their clothes off and shit.
Cat dead. Details later.
We got our ball cleavage back, ladies.
They're coming to get you, Barbara. They're coming for you, Barbara.
Do you want a game and get your jollies off as well? This is Coffee Chat of Horrors. Coffee Chat of Horrors. How did I get him to watch? I have my evil ways, monkey. I have my evil ways. It could be a porno. I'm already nude. Twisted Bunny. Mwah, thank you for the host. EXO. No, I have not seen the new Candyman. I need to. Zigra, good morning. Hello, how are you? Then I absolutely loathe him. Oh, do you? I love Conjuring. Number 2 is my favorite. But welcome to Coffee Chat of Horrors, The Conjuring. The movie was released in 2013. We're going to go watch a trailer for this one. We're also going to discuss T&E TV, who has a documentary coming out during their Creep Week. So what brought all of this on is I was contacted by a representative of T&E TV, and they asked me to review their documentary on Bathsheba, and then, do a little thingy on it on Coffee Chat of Horrors. This is why we're doing The Conjuring. It's a little bit different today than what my normal CCOH would be. T&E TV has a show during the week of October that is called Creep Week, and Creep Week has a ton of different things going on from October 9th to October 17th, and Bathsheba will be released on October 11th. The documentary was really fucking good. RSS Shorty, thank you so very much for the host. I appreciate it. How are you doing? I do love The Conjuring. I wanted to share all the Halloween movies are on AMC. Nice, Twisted Bunny. Twisted Bunny, I have on YouTube 31 Days of Halloween. It's my 31 days of what I watch in my household for up until the day of Halloween. Yeah, enjoy your lurk, Big Dragon Daddy. Of a naked monkey. You didn't like Bridesmaid, the Cable Guy. I love Pineapple Express. I don't like the Cable Guy. Bridesmaids, never seen. I like Superbad. And Trainwreck, I'm not sure if I've seen that one. Anyways, T&E Annual Creep Week will be broadcast at October 9th to October 17th. And they've got a ton of really good paranormal movies and TV shows and documentaries happening that week. So if you get T&E or you can check them out, definitely do so. Conjuring now is based on the true story of the Perron family who lived in the Conjuring house, which was the house of Bathsheba. She originally lived there with her family, Bathsheba Sherman. Hello, Faceless. How are you? I will join back later. Currently being chased by Mr. X. All right, XO, have fun. Last night I saw Friday the 13th Part 3. Nice, Zigra. Is that your first time watching it? Or that's something you've been watching? I'm doing good watching Halloween. Right on. That's a classic. Mm-hmm. Oh, did you lament? You don't care for either of those films up there. Pineapple Express, The Cable Guy. I like Pineapple Express because I love James Franco. Exactly. Mr. X is a scary son of a bitch. Lament is more of a Real Wives of Atlanta person. I'm doing good. I finally got breakfast and waking up with coffee. I could go for some hash browns, egg, sausage, ham. I had a horror movie kick last night. Right on, Zigra. Right on. Okay, so anyways, let's get into this. We're going to watch the trailer for The Conjuring. We're going to get that up here for you guys. And just so in case some of you have not seen it, because there may be a couple of you that did not see the Conjuring film. Not everybody is into the paranormal. That is understandable. Yeah, right? Sausage links, shredded hash browns that are seasoned but crispy, soft on the inside kind of deal, crispy bacon, couple of eggs on that bitch. I can't have bread, so Pile on the meat. Anyways, heathens joke. I'm getting better. Was battling an eating disorder. I'm getting better. Miss you guys and ladies. Well, I'm glad you're back, Twisted. I'm glad you're back. You have this on DVD? Never finished it. Oh, that's a shame. It's a good. I like the Conjuring series. And that is the Conjuring. So Faceless, it's me. VB is bald vagina, but I call him bald vagina. That's how I typed it out. So a quick little thing. It's me. VB is bald vagina, and somebody complained about their name, and so he had to change it's me had to change their name to It's Me VB. That's why. Okay, so that is the Conjuring. If you Andrea, you might actually be able to, because there is a Zigra on T&E. There's going to be a documentary that will be dropping. It's called Bathsheba, and it's dropping on October 11th. And the reason why we're going to talk about The Conjuring, I want to give you guys some background history on The Conjuring and the Perron family, and then I want to discuss the documentary that's dropping out. I also have a trailer for the documentary for you guys to watch. Does Aftermath? I think so, because there's love involved with it, lament. But yes, The Conjuring's working title was The Warren Files. Now, Lorraine and Ed Warren are real people. They have a museum. Well, they're both passed away. But they have a museum of everything they have collected. And Ed was called a demonologist, so understood demons, knew a lot about demons. And Lorraine, she was not really a psychic, but more can see into things, more of a medium, according to them. They are paranormal ghost hunters, and they study witchcraft and demonology. Okay. Now, hello, Potato Chip. How are you? This story, The Conjuring. This is the actual Conjuring house right here. This house right here. This house was built a very long time ago, and I'm going to go into the house settings and what the house is about as we go on through this documentary. But first, we're going to discuss the Conjuring movie. It has been a while, Potato. I hope you're doing really well. Hello, Cherokee. How are you? So, the Warrens, Ed and Lorraine, are real people. The Conjuring is based on the story of the Perron family who moved into the house. This is Ed and Lorraine Warren right here. And Lorraine Warren actually makes a cameo onto The Conjuring. She's actually sitting in the lecture hall when Ed and Lorraine are speaking in the lecture hall in the Conjuring film. Faceless, thank you for the host. I am fabulous. I am fabulous. I can't complain. It's Sunday. I'm speaking about The Conjuring, having my coffee. Hello, DJ Inferno. How are you, darling? The story originally, The Conjuring, was supposed to come from the perspective of the Perron family, but that changed, and they did it this way. So it was supposed to follow the father and the wife and the children as they go through and tell their story, but it was changed to the way the Conjuring became now. The film's composer, who made the music for this, actually plays Bathsheba. Now, Bathsheba is a real person in history. She really is a real person. The stories of Bathsheba that was created from this film, and it really caused a ruckus, actually. And the people who lived in this house up until they sold it had a lot of issues as well when the Conjuring film came out. A lot of the stuff that you see in the Conjuring is made up. Bathsheba was not a witch. She was not even demonic. She wasn't even evil. She's actually buried on the family. There's a graveyard there and on the property, or right across the street from what I can see in the documentary. And her headstone has been defiled and desecrated numerous times, and mainly because of the Conjuring film. The girl, I gave herself a tarot reading and got pregnancy in a year. She gave me one, and nice. Hey, well, hopefully you're ready for that. Uh, at the time of this film, the current owners of the house, which is Norma Sutcliffe and Gerald Helfrich, they were the original owners of this home, and they lived there for 25 years. They actually sued Warner Brother Films and James Wan because the amount of harassment they received. They experienced numerous acts of vandalism. They have been subjected to threats of violence. They found several objects affiliated with satanic cults placed in their area, placed around their acreage. This is a huge plot of land. It's not some little it's not some little house on some little piece of land. It's a huge land, acres of land, which they were finding satanic cult items. And they put a lawsuit in. Now, I tried to find more information on this said lawsuit, and I really couldn't, but I did find Warner Brothers telling ABC News that they haven't seen anything of a lawsuit. So I did do my best in researching to find information on that lawsuit, but they ended up selling the house in, I think, 2019 to this new family. They're ghost hunters. And if you watch the new documentary coming out on T&E called Bathsheba, you'll actually get to meet them. You'll go through the house. It's a really great documentary. But yeah, The Conjuring. Did you guys know that in the Philippines, when this movie was played in the Philippines, the cinemas hired a Catholic priest to bless the viewers before showing it? This was due to some viewers having reported a negative presence after watching the film. The priest also provided spiritual and psychological help to all the viewers. This film was given a rated R, not because there's sex, not because of the violence. It was because the people at the MPAA who watched it were scared. That is why this film received an R rating. It should have been a PG-13. There is no sex. There's no violence, like no true on violence that you would see in a horror film, like in Jason or Halloween. None of that. They were given an R rating because the people that watched it at the MPAA were scared. Yeah. Chocolate chip cookie dough. Ooh, I like chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. I didn't find it that scary. Blessed Aphid. Happy Sunday, darling. How are you? Thank you for the host. I appreciate it. But yeah. This film contains no nudity, no sex, very little profanity, and almost bloodless violence, and brief little shots of alcohol, and no smoking, yet it received an R rating. This was only because of the scare factor. Yes, Bathsheba was a real victim. Bathsheba was a real person in history. We're going to get to that as I just go through the movie. I wanted to give some background on the film because not everybody has watched The Conjuring. Not everybody is aware that The Conjuring is based on a true story. So I want to go through the different steps first. I wanted to talk about the movie, and then I want to talk about the house, the Perron family, and then Bathsheba, and then the documentary. I'm going to watch this with the wife tonight. Watch the series, Taco. Watch it. Number 2 is my favorite. I am fabulous, blessed. Fabulous. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga both traveled to Connecticut to meet with Lorraine Warren prior to filming. So they actually sat down with Lorena to talk to her about her experiences, to get a feel for her and Ed. Obviously, Ed passed away a while back, so they couldn't sit down with Ed, but they sat down, and I love both of these people, Patrick Wilson and Vera. I love them both as actors. And they got to sit down with Lorraine before she passed and chatted with her to get more of an experience so they can bring more of Lorraine and Ed to the film. The production team also built a 50-foot tall tree for the film. So you know that big, you see this tree up here? You know that big tree that Bathsheba supposedly hung herself from and everybody else? That tree was created. That was not a real tree. As you can tell, this is the real house. And we're going to get into the history of the house as well. So 50-foot tall tree for the film they built. This movie is based on the Perron family house and had been in the works for over 20 years. So this film has been in the works for over 20 years. It wasn't until the year that they brought it to, I think his name is Tony DeRosa, that they decided to create the actual film. It first surfaced, but when Ed Warren played it as a tape of his interview with Carolyn Perron to producer Tony DeRosa Grund. So what happened is Ed and Lorraine would videotape their their huntings and their exorcisms. And so Ed brought this film to Tony, and Tony said, "Oh, you know what? This looks really good." And Tony was the one who wanted the view from the Perron family, 50, 50, 50 foot, 50. Tony wanted the movie to be told from the Perron family, not the perspective of Ed and Lorraine. But they changed it. There were some spooky happenings on the set as well. Yeah, there's some spooky happenings on the set. Ra was saying that the new owners bought the property a few years ago. Yes. Ake, there are people living in it right now, and I'm gonna get to that. They bought it for a little over $400,000 American. Hi, Wickedy, how are you? I love watching the entire series. I love the universe of Conjuring. I fucking love it. Sex does sell. It does. It does. Sex is one of the oldest fucking professions in the world. But anyways, let's see. The crew of the film built the set of the Perron's home nearly exactly like the real home. So this is the real home right here. And yes, the actually serial killer, they're ghost hunters as well. They're ghost hunters. The family that moved in, it's only a husband and wife. They're ghost hunters. They bought the house in 2019. I'll get more to that in a little bit. Director James Wan was working on the script one late night. He had just adopted a new puppy who started to just growl at the empty side of a room and growl aggressively. Juan stated that his dog's head then followed something all across the room, but he did not see anything at all. And if you remember, in the beginning of The Conjuring, when the family first moves in, their dog did not want to go into the house. The dog refused to go into the house, right? So that gives a little bit of information about what James Wan went through in his own house when he was writing the script for this story. And thank you, Honda. I appreciate that. Letting Ake know, because I missed Ake's thing. Andrea Perron wrote all three parts of the book based on her experiences in the house titled House of Darkness, House of Light. Her experiences written about her also appear in the film. The Perron cites the film as a work of art than a work of fiction. Yeah, it definitely does, Wickedy. The exorcism in The Conjuring never happened. So there's an exorcism as you get into the film, towards the end, not quite the middle, but towards the end of it, there's an exorcism that happens that never actually happened in the Perron family. To be honest with you, Ed and Lorraine Warren were kicked out of the Perron family's house because they made things worse. Yes, I have, Zigra. I have. Let's see here. James Wan also revealed, okay, so we already spoke about his dog growling. Also, when the Perron family visited the North Carolina set, the mother, Carolyn, admitted to feeling the same strange, dark presence she did during the various real-life incidents back in the 70s. Because the Perron family moved into this house in the 1970s and later had to make a trip to a nearby hospital after suffering a fall. The whole family also noted that the cool wind which whipped through the set did not move or shake any of the surrounding trees. So supposedly there were some spooky happenings on the set of The Conjuring. I know, Perron, I don't care how it's pronounced. It's the house, Rhode Island. Now, the Conjuring house itself has 14-room farmhouse on an 8.5 acres in Harrisville, Rhode Island. The state of now, people are asking themselves, how come the family moved in? Love this movie. Watch some backstory. Gotta go. No worries, monkey. I love your guts. Have a good one. I will slash you later. Now, a lot of people are asking, why did the family move in there if they knew the house was haunted? Or why did they even get that? Why did they buy it? The family that moved in did not know that this house had a history. So, and the reason why they didn't know is that the state of Rhode Island does not require home sellers to disclose documented histories of a location's criminal activity, let alone alleged paranormal and supernatural hauntings, to potential buyers. This is why the Perrons were unaware of all previous events. So it's a law there that they don't have to. The person selling the house does not have to disclose anything that has happened there. So you could buy a house and not realize that a triple homicide happened inside there, or anything for that matter happened in that home. So when the family bought the home, they were not informed of the supernatural history or the going-ons that happened. This home is very, very, very old. It's seen numerous histories of America. I seen that house on YouTube. Most of the negative energy comes from the basement. That's what they say. That is what they say. The Perron family in January of 1971 consists of Roger, the father, Carolyn, the mother, and their 5 daughters, Andrea, Nancy, Christine, Cindy, and April. They moved into the farmhouse on the outskirts of Berryville, Rhode Island. Not long after moving in, the family reported experienced all manner of paranormal activity, from apparitions to physical attacks by unseen hands. The most frequent apparition, according to Andrea, this is one of the daughters, true story books, was that a woman with a broken neck came to be wrongfully popularized as Bathsheba Sherman. So Andrea stated while she was living in that house, a lady with a broken neck and that hung to the side like this would appear in the house. Now, the Conjuring film uses a real life person who lived in the actual house by the name of Bathsheba Sherman. And we'll get more to that in a little bit. Ed Warren and Lorraine Warren investigated the Perron Rhode Island farmhouse in 1973 and in 1974. Paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren inserted themselves in the family's alleged experiences, making the case famous via their lectures and eventually the Conjuring film. The Perron family claimed that the paranormal experiences went on for almost 10 years, until the family had to abandon the house in the 1980s. The story quieted down for some time until the house was shoved back into the spotlight within the release of the Conjuring film in 2013 by Warner Brothers. Now, there was a family living in that house by the name of Norma Sutcliffe and her friend. They lived in the house from 1987 up until they sold it to the Heinzens. I'm not even sure how to pronounce the name, but the Heinzens bought the house in 2019. Now, Sutcliffe never claims to have any experiences whatsoever in that house from the time they bought it to the time they sold it. But they did say that they had harassment from people who watched the film The Conjuring. Assumptions people make when someone has a weird name. Exactly. And they utilize the name Bathsheba in this film, which kind of caused some issues, especially for Bathsheba's gravestone, constantly desecrated and broken and spray painted. So we're going to get into a little bit of Bathsheba. Now, she is a real person. She was married. The accusations heaped on her 128 years after her death. Yeah. 128 years after her death, she was accused of haunting the house. Now, people actually looked into the history of Bathsheba, and this documentary that T&E is releasing called Bathsheba goes into it deeply. They deep dive into the history of Bathsheba. They actually deep dive into the history of the house and the land itself. So if you want to know more about this, I would definitely check out that documentary. I checked it out. I fucking loved it. It's a 2-part documentary, and I was glued to my monitor. I didn't pick. I watched it in my gaming room. I was glued to it. Yeah, Yeah, ache. And it's just because the house has a history, right? Ghost Adventures had episode dedicated to the film. Yeah, there's a lot of people who wrote articles on this. There's a lot of people who got the history wrong. But Bathsheba must be a witch, right? Exactly. The witches get blamed for everything. Everything. But anyways, there were some important questions about how we treat the people who lived and died before our time, and this just goes and shows how we treat people. Bathsheba appears to be far from an evil figure. She first saw light in 1812. She is the seventh out of the children that her father, the family name is Thayer, Thayer, and she is the youngest out of seven. Bathsheba married Judson Sherman, who passed away in 1881. This is the house that they lived in. Bathsheba then supposedly married a man by the name of Benjamin F. Green of Lincoln. Now, you're going to hear, if you've ever done any information about the Bathsheba house or the Conjuring house, they'll tell you that there's people who died in the house, there was suicides in the house, all sorts of shit. But if you actually dive back into history and read about the house, you'll know that not actually in the house. It was around the house in neighboring areas. This documentary dives deep into that, so I definitely go and watch it if you're interested about the Conjuring. I like the Ghost Adventures. Yeah, you know that Lorena and Ed Warren also did the Amity house, and did you know that there's some speculation on that as well, that the house was never actually haunted and it was all a gimmick? And there are lawyers involved with that. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. The Ed was hyping. Yeah, Macabre. How are you doing? Good morning. There are people who currently live in the Amityville house and nothing has happened. We'll talk about Amityville. We will. That'll be in an episode. We'll talk about Amityville. We'll talk about the real life haunting that supposedly happened, and we'll talk about the whole kit and caboodle. But you're going to be disappointed. Now, at some point, possibly during the 1970s, she became a legend because of Ed and Lorraine Warren. A demon, a witch, the descendant of a Salem witch, a Satanist who sold her soul to preserve her beauty, a child killer who inserted a needle into an infant's skull and got away with it at the inquest, a cruel mistress, a suicide who hanged herself from a tree on the Arnold property, because this house was Arnold property. It has a lineage. And Bathsheba did have a child. She actually had a couple. And her child did die. Yes. There was a child who died. And the child did have a hole in its skull. But she was never called a witch or a demon or a Satanist back then. It wasn't until the 70s was she called a witch, and that she descended from a witch from Salem, and that, a Satanist who sold her soul to preserve her beauty. This is all the stuff that happened in the 70s, and that was through Lorena Warren and the Perron family. So what happened is the Perron family moved in. Supposedly there were some hauntings. Ed and Lorraine Warren specifically stated that they were going to do some research on the land and the house, in which they did, and they found the name Bathsheba. And then they put two and two together, because in the history books, the death of Bathsheba's family members are on the books. The deaths actually go back quite a bit. Enjoy your lurk, Lament. And according to the stories, and I say this according to the stories, 8 generations of the family lived and died in the house before the Perrons moved in. Andrea Perron suggested that some of the spirits from the families never left. Deaths include 2 documented suicides, a poisoning, a rape and murder of an 11-year-old girl, 2 drownings, and 4 men who froze to death. Most deaths occurred within the Arnold family, from which Bathsheba Sherman was descended from. but they didn't happen inside the house. That is something that everybody seems to think that happened, is all of these deaths and suicides happened within the family home. Not the case. There is a black book that's called, where they write down the deaths of the people that happened in Rhode Island. And the documentary of Bathsheba will go through that. They'll actually show you the book and show you where these people died in the surrounding area of the home. Natalie, thank you for the host. Now, Bathsheba's family has descended from the Arnold house, which is this house right here. And finally here on a Sunday. Good morning. How are you? Aria, do you know that house right there? The owners allow people to actually stay. Yes, they do, Wickedy. Yes, they do. The current homeowners allow people to come in there. Also, the current homeowners are paranormal investigators themselves. They've had numerous investigators here. Nobody has actually seen or felt any real presence in this house. They feel things, but nothing that the Perron family had gone through did they feel. Now, Ed and Lorraine Warren were kicked out of the home. They were kicked out of the house by the Perron family. That's so strange that people from surrounding areas in a town can die. It must be haunted, right? I feel so bad for the current owners in the situation. Well, the current owners right now, the Hines, I can't pronounce their last name. They're actually pretty cool. In the documentary, Cataly, that's coming, they're interviewed in the documentary. Now, I feel bad for the family that lived there before them, when The Conjuring actually came out. Cass Sophia Lee, welcome to the crib. Thank you for the follow. Lady Wolf, hello. The family before this new family that moved in, so the family that moved in the 80s and owned it from 1987 up until 2019, they were harassed. The Conjuring came out in 2013, and the people who owned the house beforehand, which was Norma Sutcliffe and Gerald Heidfrich, they lived there peacefully in the house for a very long time, up until 2013. They actually supposedly, I can't find any more proof of it, but sued The Conjuring, Warner Brothers, and James Wan. After the movie came out, the couple's house has been vandalized. Numerous acts of vandalism. They've been subject to violent threats. They found several objects affiliated with satanic cults placed there since the film. And according to them, they sued. According to Warner Brothers, they never seen a lawsuit. I won't say anything with the new family in case you are talking about it today. They are So, Cataly, it's the documentary that's actually coming out on October 11th has the new family in it. It's just a husband and wife. And they are also paranormal people. They're hunters. They're ghost hunters. The new family that's in there. They bought the house in 2019 for a little over $400,000 American. But the funny thing is that the previous family that lived in that home for 25 years never experienced one thing of paranormal. Not one thing. And then according to some of the stuff that when they originally bought the home, the new family, nothing crazy has happened. Now, all of a sudden, things are starting to happen. I'm a skeptic on a lot of things, especially when it deals with Ed and Lorraine Warren. Yeah, so there's history to this house, Cataly. The house was built in the 1800s, so it's seen numerous wars. It went through a lot of history in Rhode Island, so there's a lot of history attached to that house. There's actually a lot of history attached to the land and the city itself. There has been, again, there's a lot of shit on the internet that states that the Arnold family, and the lineage has died in the home. But that's not true. In Rhode Island, they have a thing called a black book, and it dates back to basically the start of the town. And it accounts for all of the deaths in Rhode Island, in that town of that time where they died. And yes, it is true. The Arnold family, who was on this land beforehand, it was their land, Bathsheba is a descendant of. It does show family members have died violently, but it wasn't actually in the house. The suicides didn't happen in the home. The suicides happened in other houses in the same little town. And the documentary that is coming out on October 11th that I got to review goes in deep on that one. Blessed, thank you for the hydration. Now, the Perron family is the only family that has documented paranormal history for 10 years. The people who owned it after the Perron family, which they abandoned the house. The Perron family abandoned the house. They fucking left it. There was no real exorcism that ever happened in that home. The Perron family abandoned the house, left it. It was bought in 1987. And for 25 years, this couple lived in that home peacefully. No known paranormal activity whatsoever. They sold the home in 2019 to the new family. And now this new family that moved in is a husband and wife. And they're also paranormal activity people. They're ghost hunters. And there's a few things that if you go back and actually watch, they say they really haven't noticed anything too crazy. Nothing like the Perron family did back in the 70s. I just love how much knowledge you have on this story. Thank you so much for sharing. I always wanted to know more. No worries, lady. I love the paranormal. And I'm also a skeptic. So someone like me who believes in energies, I do believe in energies. I do believe energies get left behind, but I don't believe a lot of the things that people say they've seen. And I'm a skeptic on some of that. Dylan, have a good day. No worries. Enjoy your lurk. So when I watch this documentary, I feel you'll get a small giggle of the link I sent you. Definitely. No, now knowing how much they bought it for, super sketch. Thank you, lady. Thank you for the compliment. Bye, Dylan. I love these things. I love learning about paranormal activity and understanding energy and energies being left behind and the stuff that I do believe in, that there is other realms. And that's for another time I'll get into. So I do believe energy gets left back here. I do believe energy can manifest itself. I do. I don't believe in all the ghost hunting shit that we see on TV. I'm sorry. Movie magic, my friends. I can make anything in my fucking house move. I can. I got the technology. Fishing line. Got it. Easy. I can make this motherfucker get up and dance and tell you that it's real. Hello, Faust. How are you? The only thing that makes me skeptical of the new homeowners is that they turned it into a business. They did, Macabre. They turned it into a business. That Zach guy, I don't know where I stand with him, to be honest. Jump in the water, Foss, see if you still do. So, a burn it move on command? I definitely could. It's Mr. Scott Reacts. How are you? Okay, a couple of things, and I don't want to bash anybody, and I'm not going to, but when you buy a home, you buy it because you want it. The couple that bought the home knew the history of the house. They're ghost hunters themselves. It's like the Amityville Horror House, okay? Like, prime example. The Amityville Horror. If you know anything about the Amityville Horror House, you'll also know that majority of it is fake. Another time, another story, another coffee chat of horrors. But the people who bought the home actually changed the facing of the home, the windows, so it didn't look like an angry house anymore. That family hasn't had any paranormal activity, but they bought the home because they wanted the home. This couple bought the home because they knew about the house. They're paranormal hunters. They're ghost hunters. And they bought the house because they knew of the history. They bought the home for a little over $400,000 American. And in the documentary and in a lot of the stuff that I was reading this week, that they really didn't have any astounding paranormal activity in their home. And now, all of a sudden, things are going crazy. People are now able to pay to stay the night there. They turned it into a business. I'm a skeptic. I am. So there's a part of me that says, oh God, Cataly, Lorraine and Ed Warren. Yeah, I'm a fan in the in the sense of paranormal hunting and ghost hunting, but I honestly don't believe the new Conjuring. I thought it was good. I loved it. I loved it. Make the doll dance. I live to feel joy scream. I know, right? Mr. Burnett needs to do it, throw himself in a fire. But I could. I mean, I have the power. I have movie magic on my side to create anything I want into this house. Now, if you've seen any of my real videos from my security camera, you can actually see the orbs in my house. There is energy in my home. There is. There is energies. There are orbs. There's about 6 of them, and you can catch them on my YouTube channel. There has been times where we hear stuff and it's not here, right? But nothing like you see in the Conjuring film. If the Warrens told me the sky was blue, I'd still look up and make sure. Exactly, macabre, exactly. Hollywood and fame, I feel, went to their heads. So the Warren family really got a lot of hate, to be honest with you. Their daughter grew up. It was a really rough life for her. There is a really good story. If you want to know about the Warrens, you can actually look it up for yourself. There is some good interviews and documentaries on the Warren family. The daughter had a rough life because of her parents. And yes, her parents did go to lectures and they did these things and they did these demonologies. And for the most part, many of the hauntings that the Warrens went to were explained logically. And if you go back and read about Lorraine and Ed, you'll see that. I think there's a documentary or clips of people who knew the Warrens, speaking on them and the fraudulent things they did. But they also mentioned how the town they were in were very religious and the Warrens were against that. Exactly. But see, the funny thing is that in The Conjuring, you hear that Ed and Lorraine, God brought us together. And you heard that they worked with the church and the Vatican had to approve exorcisms. Now, the exorcism that happened in The Conjuring never happened in the house. The house was never exorcised. Ed and Lorraine Warren were kicked out of the Perron family home. Literally kicked out of the home. So that throws up red flags for me as well when it comes to the Warrens. In the movie itself, you see that Ed and Lorraine, they exorcised the home and the house was brought to peace. Not true. Not true. And the documentary that we're going to watch the trailer for Creep Week for TNE, I'm going to tell you guys right now, if this interests you, make sure you find this documentary and watch it. It's a 2-part series. They're about almost an hour long each. And it is going to be, it's called Bathsheba. It's on the history of the Conjuring house, the Conjuring, Bathsheba, the Arnold home, the whole kit and caboodle. And it's one of the better documentaries that I've actually watched on this. And it's called T&E's annual Creep Week broadcast between October 9th and the 17th. We're going to watch the trailer right now for this. And then I'm going to go into what T&D is going to be playing for that Monday, like that week. It's all paranormal, guys. It's all paranormal. It's all ghost hunting, encounters, nightmares. So let's go watch the trailer. This is Creep Week. It's starting October 9th.
Starts October 9th, only on TNE.
So, hi, Vic. Thank you for the host. Thank you. I love the paranormal. I do. And I love that the fact that I'm a half and half. I am a skeptic on one side and I'm a believer on the other side. T&D is, I'm not sure, Regal, if it's in the US. I know this is in Toronto. It goes, Vic. We're talking about The Conjuring, Bathsheba, and the real life story of the Perron family. So this week coming, actually the 9th is coming up on not this Monday, but next Monday. It starts with the Monday's theme is the haunted house. It's called My Paranormal Nightmare. Be very afraid. This starts This one is on October 11th from 1 to 7 p.m. Eastern. And it says paranormal witnesses across North America recount terrifying true tales of violent, ghostly encounters that have haunted their nightmares since childhood. Now adults, they go back in time to the horrific encounters with compelling and convincing first-person testimonies. The first, Help, My House is Haunted, October 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern. But we're going to go on and start off with their whole thing. So we have October 12th, October 13th, 14th. All right, perfect. So I have the whole lineup for the week as well. I believe it's a Toronto entertainment, but you could probably find it on one of the American channels. Yeah. No worries, Vic. No worries. I didn't even know we had a network called T&E. Now you do. So it starts off with that one. Then Bathsheba, October 11th at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's a world broadcast premiere. Bathsheba ventures back in time to recognize one of the most insidious demonic possessions as it shows audience the chilling true story behind James Wan's supernatural horror film and worldwide phenomenon, The Conjuring, and anchored by first-hand accounts from the living Perron family members. And it does. This documentary was really, really good. I sat here and watched it. I was glued to both. I watched both episodes back to back, and it was a really good documentary. They went into deep history. That's how I found out about the Black Book. I didn't know there was a Black Book that Rhode Island had, right? I watched this documentary and they dive deep into the whole mythos, like everything about it. So definitely check it out. I am going to be checking out the rest of their lineup, which is Tuesday's theme is conspiracies. So Tuesday's thing, I love conspiracies. Anyways, it starts off with Unexplained Caught on Camera, October 12th at 11 a.m. Eastern. From uncovering skeletons in closets to hairy encounters with Bigfoot and run-ins with restless spirits, Unexplained Caught on Camera captures all things creepy, spooky, and bizarre on tape. Then you have Strange Evidence, October 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern, back-to-back episodes. Across the globe, there are 300 million surveillance cameras watching us. Doesn't that sound fucking creepy? Little Antique. Oh, shit balls. Hopefully it doesn't go off. Little Antique, thank you so very much for the resub. 16 fucking months. Thank you. Thank you, Little Antique. Thank you for re-sacrificing your soul for 16 months. Mwah. T&E is owned by Discovery, so check places like the Travel Channel. Thank you very much, Macabre. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys for all of the sub hype. I appreciate it. I do apologize that I don't have my horns and all that jazz on this scene. Just because it's CCOH, I do things a little bit differently here. Also, most of our sounds are off. But thank you guys so much for the sub hype. Little Antique, thank you so much for the resub. Doesn't it freak you out that there's 300 million surveillance cameras watching us? On the streets, at work, and in our homes. At times, they capture images that do not follow the normal laws of physics and defy explanation. Invasions, thank you so very much for re-sacrificing your soul. Thank you. Thank you so much for the 2 months. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Mwah. Thank you very much. Thank you for the sub hype. I appreciate it. Now, Strange Evidence follows a team of experts as they analyze this footage and uncover the scientific reasoning behind some of the most bizarre occurrences ever recorded. So that goes you into a little bit of, that interests me. That piques my fucking interest. That's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's crazy that satellite camera can go into your house and catch you fucking your wife. Exactly. Hello, welcome back, Vic. The next one that's playing that night on October 12th is called Conspiracies Decoded, and that's at 10 p.m. Eastern. Experts revisit the most enduring and inexplicable crimes and conspiracies from throughout history, applying new forensic science techniques and stunningly accurate CGI to reconstruct each scrap of astonishing evidence and potentially uncover answers that were once thought impossible. I wonder if they're going to talk about Jack the Ripper at all, because that always piques my interest. Because technically, we kind of already know that there was a suspect that's attached to it in the DNA that they were able to pull. But of course, being compromised, they can't use that DNA to actually pinpoint the killer. I can replace the remote. Now, Wednesday's theme is called Hauntings Outside the House. And that starts haunted hospitals, Cataly haunted hospitals. Yes. Wednesday's theme, that's October 13th, haunted hospitals, 8 p.m. Eastern. Explore chilling stories of paranormal activity inside medical institutions. I love this one. In each episode, doctors, nurses, and patients give firsthand accounts of past patients coming back from the grave to seek revenge or to warn of impending danger. Exactly. Who doesn't love a haunted asylum or hospital? That's dropping October 13th. The next one will be New Proof, October 13th at 10 p.m. Canadian broadcast premiere. Proof is a series that confronts the controversial and refutes the irrefutable. Get ready to question what you think you know. That is the second part of the hauntings outside the house. And then Thursday's theme is paranormal phenomenon. Believers is the title. Something about me working at morgues medical at one point in my life sparked up that curiosity because no way in hell they cannot be haunted. Like, no way. I agree. Same with prisons. Energy can get left behind completely. And I definitely can see hospitals, morgues, everything getting haunted. I'd like to see more things about Shawshank Redemption Prison. Seems legit. So Thursday's theme, Dr. Biohazard, welcome to the crypt. Thank you for the follow. Greatly appreciated. I just seen it pop up. Thank you very much. So Thursday's theme is paranormal. It's called Believers, October 14th, which is my sister's birthday. Paranormal tales are often dismissed as fiction, but for many who have faced the unknown, these tales are all too real to relive. Now, through actor portrayals, archival documentation, and dramatic recreations, the terrifying true events that transform these unsuspecting eyewitnesses into believers are pieced together. Then the second one is Paranormal Caught on Camera, October 14th, again at 9 p.m. Eastern. Watch as eyewitnesses capture amazing, eye-opening, and downright scary paranormal videos from around the world, while a panel of experts break down the footage and analyze what was captured. I like the whole lineup that they have so far. Friday's theme, which is October 15th, is called Premium Scares. This is Hotel Paranormal. I love haunted hotels. We know that there are numerous haunted hotels throughout Canada and the United States. So October 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern, narrated by Emmy Award winner and Oscar nominator actor Dan Aykroyd. Now, you know Dan Aykroyd has a history of paranormal within his own life and within his own family. Did you guys know that? There is only one reboot I would accept, Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. I like that one. But Dan Aykroyd will be... Yeah, Dan Aykroyd actually has a long history of paranormal activity before Ghostbusters. You're listening to all the shows that Travel Channel shows every week. So Mischief Maker, yes, this is T&E's Creep Week lineup. This lineup is going to be appearing October 9th to the 17th. And they do this every year. So these are new documentaries that are coming to T&E for this year, which would be the Travel Channel in the United States. Very cool invasions. Very cool. Discovery is a wee bit obsessed with the paranormal. That they are. That they are. So it'll be narrated by Dan Aykroyd. The documentary series features terrifying real-life stories of paranormal encounters at four-star hotels, bed and breakfasts, highway motels, and inns around the world. From hotel workers and guests witnessing objects flying across the room to uncovering trapped ancient spirits and experiencing demonic possession, Hotel Paranormal brings to life terrifying encounters with dramatic recreations and paranormal experts' insights. How are you doing, Mischief Maker? How is your morning going? Yes. Yes, Zigra. And he's going to be doing this one as well. He's going to be narrating the Hotel Paranormal news stories on October 15th on TNE. Also, on October 15th, Eli Roth presents A Ghost Ruined My Life at 10 p.m. Eastern, Canadian broadcast premiere. Didn't they say that the QE2 was one of the most haunted shit? Supposed to be. Yeah, there's a lot of haunted shit. So, Eli Roth presents A Ghost Ruined My Life, October 15th at 10 p.m. Executive produced by award-winning film director, producer, writer, and actor Eli Roth, the new original anthology series unveils shocking, modern-day, real-life stories of hauntings that have left emotional and sometimes physical scars on those unlucky enough to have experienced them. Equal parts horrific and evocative, every hour-long episode will expose viewers to survivors who have struggled, dragged through hell and back, and now struggle to rebuild their shattered lives. Stayed up way too late and you could go for a nap? Oh no! What were you doing? Were you just watching scary movies? Let's see here. And that's the 15th. I think my bedroom is haunted. You should hear some of the moans that come out of it during the night. The only reason to have the History Channel, I am now convinced that bad German aliens created and will end the world. Could be, Macabre. Could be. So that is the lineup that you're going to see on the week of Creep Week. And that is on T&E, which will be in the United States, the Travel Channel, according to Macabre. You played some New World. Right on, Mischief Maker. Right on. So that is our bit with T&D, Bathsheba, and the Conjuring. I didn't want to go into too far because I want you guys to catch that documentary. The documentary is really, really good. And it does touch base on all of the non-real stories that the internet since 2013 has come out with. There's a lot of stories and a lot of clickbait out there that tells you that the woman with the broken neck, she hung herself at the tree. The other one hung herself in the basement. There were numerous deaths in the house, all of this stuff. Now, the majority of it is not true. The History Channel is definitely about aliens. I friggin' love everything about aliens. I watch Ancient Aliens, the TV show that we watch. You have a succubus issue? Right on. I love Lost Girl. It's so wild how much isn't true. Exactly, Cataly. How much is utilized for clicks. And this is why you have people who just don't believe in the paranormal because of all of the falsities. And I don't blame them. Like I said, I'm a skeptic myself, but I'm a half. I'm a believer and a skeptic. So I do question things, and I'm a believer because I've had my own paranormal experiences. I've got 6 fucking energy orbs that live in my house that we have caught numerous times on camera. Energy orbs cannot be falsified. I mean, I gather they could if you had the proper light set up and shit like that, but I don't have any of that. Yes, they are. There's a lot of haunted ghost ships. A lot of ships that are considered haunted. Hence one of the stories from Ghost Ship. There's so much haunted stuff as well. And then there's so much supposedly haunted shit. So you really just have to utilize what you feel is real. And then if you want is research it yourself. The Conjuring really kicked up and made things popular for the Perron family, where one of the daughters wrote 3 fucking books of. Ed and Lorraine Warren only brought their footage to Tony, who was the producer of this film, and that is how they created this. Now, the movie also adds in filler to make it a movie. It's a 2-hour movie. They had to add stuff into the film to make it interesting. And a lot of moviegoers see this and they're like, oh, this has got to be real. So then they cause their own craziness. La Llorona has its own history. La Llorona has its own history, and I believe that they're going to. They brought it in because of the director, right? La Llorona is sort of kind of based on the Conjuring universe, and that's only because they're making the film. I'm in the same way. I assess the situation and the story, then make my opinion. Exactly, and it doesn't hurt to go into. It doesn't hurt to go into the whole situation. And if you go into what the director, James Wan, says, La Llorona is not part of the Conjuring universe. The La Llorona, which is what I think is directed by Chavez, but I'm not 100% sure, don't quote me on it, is a wink and a nod. But La Llorona has its own actual true story, and it's Latin, and it's from the Latin culture. Llorona. How are the L's pronounced, Joy Toy? I don't speak Spanish, so want to go to a place where you hear things at night and see things? I'll take you to a trip to Baltimore. I'd love to go. Llorona, like a Y. Llorona. I have watched the movies on Llorona. Like yo. What about the Bloody Mary thing? Every state has their own version of Bloody Mary. Every state, every city, and every country. She may not be named Bloody Mary, but there's a lot of legend and myth out there, a lot of lore, and a lot of it is just made up bullshit. The lady in white, the lady in red, the lady in black, Bloody Mary, all sorts of shit. I took some of the tours of Old Charleston, and so is it called Llorona? So what about the La? Quickly, what about the LA in front of it? La. Is that just La Llorona? Is that how it's pronounced? I've never been. Oh no, Riggs. So La Llorona. La Llorona. All right. And it is Latin. And I believe from what I've seen in the movies, it was some weeping woman. Something. It is if you can get away from the tourists. Interesting. Yeah. Isn't there like there's 2 films for La Llorona, right? I would really like to dive into that one.
We gladly feast on those who would subdue us.
Okay, yeah, I'm not good at pronouncing other languages' fucking words. Yeah, I've grown up listening to Llorona story in New Mexico. NM is New Mexico, and I've always been interested in the story, but there is so many versions. There are so many versions, and I do know a little bit about the Mexican culture when it comes to this story. Not a whole hell of a lot. I've watched a few movies. I've read a few articles on it. There's lots of mixed stories. I will agree with you, Dr. Biohazard, on that one. There is. I'm not American. Like, I don't live in the States. I may sound like an American, but I am in Canada, so I don't fully know the abbreviations of everything there, so I'm assuming NM is New Mexico. It is. You return with food. Are you sharing that food, Vic? What are you returning? What kind of food are you returning with? I would like to do a series here soon on the paranormal, and there's a few that I want to talk about, and La Llorona is one of them. So I will be doing some deep diving into the paranormal on some of the famous films that we see and the real legend behind that film. I love ice cream sandwiches, roasted chicken dinner. I'm having that tonight, Vic. Yes, it's not early for ice cream. Ice cream is a breakfast. Yes, ice cream is a breakfast. I don't know, you guys think it's a dessert. It's a fucking breakfast in this household here. I will eat ice cream for breakfast. It's cool to see how we know about I'm trying to pronounce it correctly, Llorona, but we all had different stories about her. Yes, definitely. And I have seen that, but that happens with a lot of legend, right, Cataly? Like there's different stories about, like Bloody Mary. Take for example, Bloody Mary. There's different stories about the boogeyman. We all know what a boogeyman is, even before we watched Halloween. And, Michael was named the boogeyman. But we all had stories growing up in our own cultures, in our own cities, in our own countries about myth and legend, right? Like we have several here where I'm from, right? And then where on Long Island, where I live, there is tons. There is Montauk Point. I don't know if anybody knows about the Montauk Point, but there is numerous places out on Long Island that are haunted and has their own legend and lore. You got it right, Ra. And yeah, in Puerto Rico, for me at least, Llorona lost her kids, and she was often seen in rural roads taking kids or ride in your car. But I've heard that. So the Lady in White, Cataly, is an urban legend that goes on over here as well. The Lady in White is a woman who will either hitch a ride with you in your car. And actually, Supernatural did an episode on the Lady in White, which is a lore that is around the fucking world. Yeah, I'm very interested in the Montauk Project. I believe in that Montauk Project. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to bring in an episode, a series. So full month long. And we're going to dive into these paranormal. So if there's a paranormal activity or a story or urban legend you want to see, put it in my Discord under the Crypto Curiosities. Let me know, and I will research the ever-living fuck out of it. Now, you know me and my research. I don't skimp out. I do full-on research. That's one of the things that separates my show from anybody else that talks about horror movies, is I do deep dives into everything. It usually takes me weeks of research to figure out some of the stuff because there's a lot of fake bullshit online, and you've got to be able to separate the fakeness from the realness. And when I started watching this documentary on the Conjuring, Bathsheba, I already knew about Bathsheba. I did a full-on deep dive into this as well. Thank you very much, Frantic. I've heard that as well, Doctor. It was the very first episode with the woman in white. Yeah, Bearcat. And that has urban legend lore everywhere. So let me just go into my Discord here. In Crypto Curiosities, I want to make sure you guys can see the Crypto Curiosities. Montauk Project is going to be one that we're going to be talking about. If you're in my Discord already, please see it's under the Horde category. Under creature, well, it's under the old creature feature, Crypt of Curiosity. If you have an urban legend or a lore from your culture and you want me to deep dive and research and have it be a part of the episode series of urban legends, put it in there. I will research the ever-living shit out of it, and I will bring it all compiled, documentaries, all compiled into one show for you right here. I love cults as well, Macabre. This is stuff that I love. I go down rabbit holes. I am a conspiracy theorist as well. I deep dive down that fucking rabbit hole. I'm definitely gonna suggest the Bell Witch. The Bell Witch. I knew what you were talking about. I added that one there for you, Zach. Let me know, guys, when you're in my Discord. Let me know if you can see the Crypt of Curiosity, and we'll dive into that. Dr. Herbert West, not anymore. I have Reanimator. No, Reanimator is a movie. Taco Smurf, 1985, starring Jeffrey Combs, which is where I get my name from. Reanimator. That is the movie. It's not a typo. And if you've never seen Reanimator or Reanimator Bride or Beyond the Reanimator, you need to fucking check it out. 85 was a good year. 85 is a good year. But Dr. Herbert West's history comes from H.P. Lovecraft stories. I'm a big H.P. Lovecraft fan. And Dr. Herbert West comes from H.P. Lovecraft short stories that he used to get paid like 5 cents or something like that per story to be put into the newspaper. It was one of his least liked stories. He did not like the Dr. Herbert West storyline. Believe it or not, he did not like it. It was later on loosely, the movie Reanimator is loosely based off of H.P. Lovecraft's Dr. Herbert West. And as, hold on, I'll show you something. It's hard to see, but I do have numerous, like the Reanimator, the World of Cthulhu, Reanimator, World of Cthulhu, another one. It's hard to see. I'll take pictures and put it on my Instagram. The Reanimator, another one. This one brings in Vampirella and this sexy devil beast woman. Hard to see, but I'll take pictures. But yes, I am a huge Lovecraft and Dr. Herbert West fan. Like, I've got numerous comic book stories. I even got my Reanimator pen. When I was a kid, it was big for people to go to the Bell Witch Cave, which you can't do anymore. Why? Did they close it down? The Fire Stick app has Poultrygeist as trending right now. Fuck, yes. Poultrygeist is one of my favorite traumas. I still got my zombie with a shotgun comic. So do I. Ake. I got that bitch right over there. What was I gonna say? I have a lot of comics. There's a book that I want on Amazon. It's a H.P. Lovecraft book. I want to get it. It's something that I don't have in my collection. They fenced it off. Any particular reason, or they're just tired of people going on there? Dr. Frankenstein was. Yes, he was. And if you look at it, anything that has been reanimated is technically a zombie. So Frankenstein's monster, who does not have a name, he's a zombie as well. It's so damn hard to make a Cthulhu. It is, Macabre. It is. Thank you. It's here. Let me show it to you fully, RS Shorty. It's like a dress. But it buy all the stuff. Yeah, you know I like buying all the stuffs. And I love Cthulhu. I love Cthulhu's story. We do have a little Cthulhu up in the stream as well. Pretty much just trying to keep people away. Definitely, I will research the fuck out of that, Zach. Right? Ake hates it when I show off my shoulders for some reason. He made me change out of my Freddy shirt that I had. He's like, too much shoulder, bitch. Change. So he played the Streamloots card for me to change my shirt. Right, Toy? He did. Which is funny. But yeah, awesome, Dr. Biohazard. Perfect. I'm glad you can see it. Aw, so sweet. And welcome, Big Dragon Daddy, to the Discord. I'm just trying to see. And Dragon Daddy left the Discord and tried to join back in. Vic the Viking and Dr. Biohazard, welcome to the Discord. Happy hauntings. Go in there, post in there. We have a paranormal section that everyone is allowed to post in. It's telling your paranormal stories. We have a cryptic curiosity. If there's something that you want to see on my chat show or in the stream, you can post there. There's a horror section. There's tons of stuff. Yes, Mr. Scott. Yes, there is. I love the Cthulhu Mansion and the Unnameable. I love the movie Castle Freaks, and I enjoyed the remake. Actually, I want to say it's a sequel to Castle Freaks. I thought both were great fucking films. Jeffrey Combs again stars in Castle Freaks, the original with Barbara Crampton, and then there is another one that was updated by Barbara Crampton. Castle Freaks, which I thought was really good. I enjoyed the friggin' violence in Castle Freaks. I want to say it's a sequel to original Castle Freaks. No ache. I also know Streamloots is having an issue, and I still can't figure out my problem with Streamloots. Reaper, how are you, darling? But yeah, that T&E, definitely check out that series. I'm going to see if I can watch some of it in Discord. 8 p.m. Eastern is early for me, so I'm going to see if maybe we can do some streaming in the Discord of watching it together. I think that might be kind of cool. I know it's during the week, so I know it might be late for some of you Americans out on the East, but I want to look at, hanging out this October and doing some scary movies and some documentaries. Yeah, I think so too, Joyto. I think it would be a good time. I want to check out Blade Iron Cross. Is that for anyone? Anyone that's in the Discord. Anybody who wants to fucking hang out with me. So T&E is having a week called Creep Week. Now, this is their annual thing. And it's a Canadian show. And I don't know if all of these are going to be everywhere. So I'm thinking of maybe doing them every night that they're on. Like maybe doing the Paranormal Nightmare. Doing that one. And starting off with that one in the Discord and just hanging out and watching. It's for anybody that's a part of the Horde. You're more than welcome. As long as you're in my Discord, right? And as long as Discord doesn't have an issue, like going down. But it should be fine. Yeah, definitely, Mr. Scott. Definitely. But yeah, we are going to do a whole series on the paranormal urban legends. I think that might be a good thing to break up the regular CCOH that I do here on Twitch and go into some. So if you're from a different culture and you have your own, please put some information in the Discord for me. I would love to learn more about other lore and legends in other people's culture. I think it's a really cool thing to learn about. Everybody has, and it's going to be funny because we're all going to have similar stories. And it's going to be weird. I live in Florida, so I don't get many of Canada's channels. Yeah, you won't. But I heard Macabre said it might be on the Travel Channel. It's Mr. Scott. You got to do what you got to do, hon. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for everything. You have a great day. Love your guts. I'm so glad I found this channel. I love it. Learning so much about movies I didn't know about. That is the whole point of CCOH. CCOH is my baby that I started way back in the day, and she's evolved, like completely evolved from where the show started. And I have such a deep love for horror and the movies and culture of horror that I started bringing it to this chat show. When this show first started, it was nothing like it is right now. It evolved so much, and it's still evolving as of right now. And hopefully it'll evolve into something even better. Fingers crossed. I think Halloween 6 used Michael Myers as the Druid's hitman. Well, you do get to find out about the Thorn, right? Mine too, Serial. I love Coffee Chat of Horrors. I love the fact that we bring horror information and not biased horror. I do CCOH on everything. I don't like Blair Witch movie, but I did an entire deep dive into Blair Witch because it did break boundaries in the found footage genre. And I talk about films and TV shows that I don't like. It's just that they brought something to the genre. I'm not a huge Scream fan, but I did a series on Scream. I love Ghostface because of the Merkins. The Merkins brought a fucking love for Ghostface. Scream is a good movie, a decent movie. I'm not a goo goo gaga over it. And there's nothing wrong with you being goo goo gaga over Scream, because I am like goo goo gaga over Friday the 13th. And it's just that Scream did play a big role in 90s horror, and Wes brought something again to the series, to horror during that time. I've started getting away from gaming streams and more to chatting streams. It just feels more interactive. I like chatting streams. I love my gaming streams. And I love my gaming streams because I play indie games that most people won't get to see, right? So I do like doing that because I'm a big, big supporter of everything indie, from movies to comic books to Kickstarters. The Merkins are awesome. I love the Merkins. Vic, we had Roy Burns on the show, Coffee Chat of Horrors, back in April. If anybody wants to see it, it's on my YouTube channel. Lament Butterfly here. Her name is Pixie. She is one of the lyricists for the Merkins. And it's Mr. Scott Reacts. I met via the Merkins as well. We should update that cause day on Twitch also. Wait, what, Reanimator? We should update that cause day on Twitch also. What's on Twitch? Ache. I'm kind of the Merkins. Yeah, they don't fully stream on there all the time. Roy just started doing his restreaming. So when you see Roy Burns, which all this month, guys, all this month, he's doing 31 days of Halloween. So 31 days of streams. Roy Burns and Matt plays Freddy, or Ghostface from Hello Sydney, their newest video. They multi-stream on Facebook. YouTube is their primary. So YouTube is their primary. And then they offshoot to Twitch at the same time, Facebook. And I think there's one other one, but I'm not 100% sure. But I do know on Facebook and Twitch, they do their restream. So they're streaming on their YouTube, and then they send out the signal to other places. And I think that's a great idea. I would do the same thing for CCOH if I wasn't buying to exclusivity for Twitch, which Twitch I feel needs to get the fuck out of that old way, because I would love to be able to restream CCOH to places other than Twitch, because not everybody has a Twitch channel. Not everybody knows about Twitch. I know a lot of people think that everybody knows about Twitch, but not everybody knows about Twitch. There are numerous YouTubers that are in my community on YouTube that had no idea what Twitch is. They obviously made an account so they can hang out here, but they didn't know what it is. Yeah, he restreams to Twitch, but he's mostly on YouTube. Exactly. Did you see Cannibal Claws or Death Escort Service? I am friends with Ashley Lynn Caputo. No, I have not, Zigra. YouTube is bigger. There are days I feel like CCOH would be better served on YouTube. Macabre, I feel the same way. I really wish Twitch got rid of the exclusivity for some of us, because it's an old way. It really is an old way. And it's not going to pull from Twitch, because Twitch is still a really big name in the streaming industry. You've got some other places like Facebook Gaming. They're making moves. They are making moves. And I wouldn't be surprised if Facebook Gaming really makes a huge step in the next couple of years. I think YouTube is going to blow up with their live streaming, because YouTube wasn't technically a live streaming platform. It was all recorded. So they're just getting their feet wet over the last couple of years with live streams. Can you upload after 20? Yeah. I have to wait 24 fucking hours, Cataly. I know there are people who do not. I know partners and affiliates that restream. I will not do that. I am an honest person. Is it different for partners as an affiliate? No. Durun. Partners and affiliates are bound by the same terms of service in their contract. Is you are not allowed to restream the same content, and you're not allowed to put the same content up within 24 hours. So I have to wait until 24 hours before I can put this episode on YouTube. And it sucks. because I have people who they won't make an account to come to Twitch, and I don't blame them. They love watching YouTube, and that's their platform. And I would have loved to be able to restream this. But and then that's why, Duran, I say affiliateship is shit. Don't take it. This is why I'm against affiliateship on Twitch. CCOH can still go on YouTube as a VOD 24 after Twitch. YouTube is mostly for recorded stuff anyways, but Serial, YouTube is stepping into the live streaming, and in about, I think in a few years, YouTube is going to be a reckoning in the live streaming. That's just my opinion. I've watched numerous videos on the progression of YouTube. I honestly think YouTube is gonna come in and fucking storm the walls of live streaming. They're already making waves. They've got clipping going on. They have tons of things going on behind the scenes, and some of the stuff that's actually out for a lot of people is clips. The exclusivity stops you from putting 24 hours. 24 hours, Macabre. So if you're an affiliate, you're a partner, you're bound by a 24-hour clause. You cannot put this video up anywhere for 24 hours. Yeah, it sucks waiting till the next day to upload your YouTube. It definitely does, Duran. Amazon has their own thing as well, but Amazon also, so Twitch is a subsidiary or something like that of Amazon. Amazon has their own thing as well. Missed the days of FTL, but a lot of YouTube has gotten really good at that. They have low, right? Yes, I know Amazon owns it. That's why I think it's called a subsidiary. I'm not really sure. Don't quote me on that shit, but I do know they own it. That's why we got the Twitch Amazon Prime. You get the Prime sub every month with your Amazon. Trovo, okay, so I streamed on Trovo. Did I like it? Yo, fuck yeah, I did. I thought it was great. Problem with Trovo is that it's small, it's new, and I do have PTSD from Mixer. The fact that I will not try anything new for 5 years, I blame on Mixer. Mixer was up. I was partnered on there. I made a lovely home over there, and then they threw me out and everyone out like hot garbage. And that has ruined me trying out new platforms like Gilded, like Trovo. We'll see. How are they feeling? I know. That's the Spawn. She just got contacts. She doesn't want to wear her glasses anymore. I personally feel Trovo plus anything not popular game-wise or shooters doesn't go, and it doesn't, Cataly. It doesn't. YouTube and Twitch are both getting closer to FTL speeds. They are, Vic. They are. Trovo, okay, so Trovo is owned by Tencent, okay? Tencent is really big in the mobile gaming industry. Now, Tencent gives a budget to Trovo. They have a budget. And I have lots of friends on Trovo. I did try streaming on Trovo. I did. I'm not going to badmouth the platform. I enjoyed what I found on Trovo. But again, if you do chat shows, it's not popular. You have, my experience and in my opinion, on Trovo, if you didn't play popular games, you made it nowhere. And they have their Trovo bonus, their Trovo 500, where you receive a bonus, but it only goes for gamers. So I didn't find that my chat show or what I do personally beneficial on that platform. Plus, it's so fucking new and it's owned by another company that has a budget for it. If they feel that budget is no longer necessary, there goes Trovo. So I learned this the hard way with Mixer. And unfortunately, I won't go to a new platform. Yes, Macabre. Yeah, Mixer broke hearts or hurt a lot of people. Yeah. I won't try. I'll try new things. Like I'll try Gilded, but I will not invest my time into Gilded. No. It's a great platform for like Discord. I wouldn't even say it's a competitor. It's very similar to Discord. And Discord has been around a lot longer than Gilded. And even though Gilded has some really nice features and built-in stuff, I like what they're doing. It's just way too fucking new for me to put a commitment into. So I won't. Same thing with Trovo. It's too new for me to put commitment into. If it's around in 5 years, in 7 years, it's still there. Different story, right? Yeah, Glimish had a lot of potential too, but like the site has 10 people live right now. It's really tough to build a crowd on a new streaming site unless you're owned by a big corporation. And, you know, Beam was really good. It was super small. And why wouldn't you sell your technology of FTL to Microsoft if Microsoft offered you millions of dollars? I mean, it would be a stupid move to turn around and say, well, yeah, fuck you, Microsoft. No, I'm not taking your millions of dollars. So I understand why they sold Beam, and they sold the technology to Microsoft. The D Live had a good thing going, Macabre, and then they got greedy. I streamed on D Live. I actually enjoyed D Live, and then money is the root of all evil, because platforms get fucking greedy because they see that the streamers are bringing people in. These people are spending monies. They realize, oh fuck, and then they changed. I left D Live when they changed. I thought it was bullshit, so I left it. Yeah, they changed things, Macabre. That's why many people left. Yeah. D Live was great. It was great when I first jumped on it. Cranky Canuck introduced me to D Live. And we were some of the people on this platform that were still new. There was still new platform when we jumped on it. And it was great. And then they changed. And it's like, well, yeah, now no worries. I'll go to another site. Gotta think starting a streaming site must be like setting piles of money on fire. Yeah, it's not an easy task to do. And you gotta have deep pockets. I just went to D Live. It still got viewers, but it is now, Cataly. It is now. It's a platform. See, I like the platform when it first started because it was all about no censorship, right? Obviously, you were not allowed to incite violence on people or groups of people. You weren't allowed to show porn, all sorts of, other stuff. But it was a good platform when it started, and the way to make money on it was really, really good. Seriously, really good. Super Mario, hello, Dennis. Dennis, welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you doing today, Dennis? Bring in the raid. I don't have a raid scene on this bad boy. Wondering how much you need to make and run a platform. I don't know. Probably lots. That was my thing. I have spicy friends and I felt more comfortable with them over there. Yeah, spicy friends are usually better on a platform like that, right? This is a great movie. Yes, it is. We talked about The Conjuring. We talked about Bathsheba, the Perron family, and we discussed the new documentary called Bathsheba that will be released on October 11th. Welcome, Raiders. Welcome, welcome. But the reason why Twitch brought an affiliate wasn't to help a small streamer. Devil Dog, how are you, my friend? It wasn't. And now this new thing that Twitch has brought in is a little iffy in my eyes. This pay to be. Ha! Damn it, Ra. I seens you. It's all about that money. Exactly, Dennis. All about that money. I am Fabulous Devil. We just got done discussing The Conjuring, the Perron family that The Conjuring was made after, and Bathsheba, the real life Bathsheba that this whole thing started upon. And this new mechanic is just going to make big streamers bigger. The problem is there are people on Twitch that love to support their content creators, and there's nothing wrong with that. This new feature that Twitch has brought on is to suck more money out of people. So yeah, it might benefit some people, but it might not. For the majority, it's not. Smaller streamers, and when I say smaller streamers, I mean people under 50 views, right? it's really not going to help unless their viewers are willing to dish out more money to Twitch, and I'm against that. Twitch saves money by having 3 people and a hamster. Yeah, Duran. It is crazy. I have been lurking and love the stream. Plus, that house is on sale. It was, yes, it was. The house was sold in 2019 to the new family that's there. It's still around, Dark Raven. It's still around. Lorraine passed away a bit back. I'm not in it for the money. I'm here to have fun. But it doesn't hurt if you're in it for the money. You know, it doesn't mean that you're a shitty streamer if you do it for the money. It doesn't make you less of a streamer if you do it as a job. I look at us as entertainers. We entertain people. People watch us because they're being entertained. It's just like a television series, you know, like, or a movie. I get paid a fuck ton less than George Clooney, and I sit here and I entertain people for 4 to 5 hours a day. But I definitely do not make the money like George Clooney or anybody in Hollywood. I came to Twitch because Ra came to Twitch. Yes, Ake, and I know that, and I thank you for that. And I know a lot of the horde from Mixer came over to Twitch because of me. And I'm very grateful and thankful that to each of you who did that. I'm thankful for each of you who still stand by me. And we've been through a big adventure in this streaming world. And I am very grateful to each and every one of you who stay with me and stand with me to this day. Thank you, Frantic. You entertain better than Clooney? Dennis, entertainer? I say stupid stuff and people like me. How does it happen? They're entertained by you, Dennis. They're entertained. I would feel like it's a job, yes, but you would feel for... I don't, Super Mario. I do this full time. This is my career. If you want to move to the States, Ra, oh, let me see what this is all about. Oh, wow. They're selling it again? They're selling it again? I'd fucking buy it. If I had that kind of motherfucking money to whip out my ass, I'd definitely buy it. I never knew about Mixer till I found out about Twitch. Oh, really, Doctor? Mixer was great. I loved it. That's where I started my streaming career. This is where the majority of the horde... Hello, Deadly Nightshade. How are you? Dennis, thank you for the raid, by the way. Seriously, thank you for bringing you and your peeps over here to hang out at the crypt. And look at you out here gifting subs.
Dennis, thank you for sacrificing the soul of Dr. Biohazard to the horde.
Mixer was actually more advanced than Twitch. Yes, it was. Yes, it is, Ake. Oh, also, this is the Conjuring house right here. Thank you for the shout out for Dennis. Guys, if you haven't checked out my friend Dennis, I've known Dennis for years. Dennis is amazing. His content is awesome. He loves to have fun. He plays video games. It's enjoyment. If you haven't checked out my buddy Dennis, please do so. Dennis has always supported me from the time I met him here on Twitch to the time I moved over to Mixer, and actually was Beam. Dennis was still popping in over there, still shouting me out over on Twitter. So, right, Ake? I need 1.2 mil. Yeah, American. Yeah, that's what I was telling you about. The new owners are leaving because the house is breaking up their family and messing with them mentally. The daughter cries on TikTok every day about it and how bad it is. Cataly, I want you to watch that documentary. And I want you to listen to what they had to say in that documentary. That documentary is hitting October 11th. I corrupted a fuckload of people over on Mixer that became family. Fuck yeah, Vic. Yes, and unified streamers as well. Deadly Nightshade, thank you for that host. I have to because this whole thing... They bought the house for a little over $400,000. Oh yeah, I support good peeps no matter where they are, to be honest. Reanimator has been the same person the entire time, and it's amazing how great your content has developed. I greatly appreciate that, Dennis. Thank you very, very much. And yeah, I'm the same way. I love supporting good people and their content. Yes, 400,000. According to what I found, the house was paid for. Yeah, they paid for a little over 400,000. Let me see. Where did I find it? Live or die. Pick your choice. I was reading on the sale of the house.
What if? Hear me out, babe. The balls got hard too.
Trying to see here if I have it in my notes. You do, because the way they speak publicly to the media compared to the daughter's TikTok is so different. It is. That is frantic. I would live in it, not a problem. Do you know that the family that lived into it from 1987 to 2019, 25 years, the family lived peacefully in that house? This was after the Perron family. The Perron family abandoned the house in the 80s. This family bought it in 1987 and lived there till 2019. They lived peacefully in that house up until 2013 when The Conjuring came out. Then they got harassment, right? They were harassed. People were going to their houses. They found satanic shit buried in their acre. So many years. 25 years. No paranormal activity. None whatsoever. By the way, that is another reason why I find people that are selling now sus, because they're putting it in. Yes, they are macabre. Yes, Mr. Fusa came here earlier today too. She was like, hello, bitches. Suddenly Conjuring gets famous in their house, and now the house is acting frisky because it's famous. But the previous owners of the home for 25 years lived peacefully. Maybe the spirits pick and choose who they want to fuck with. No idea. I always find that iffy. And now they're selling it for 1.2 million American? What? No. Yeah. Fur Babies has arrived. Yes, she has. She was here earlier too. She's here to say hello. Yep. Yeah, the new documentary that's coming out, it's called Bathsheba, is dropping October 11th. I highly recommend everybody watching it. If this interests you and intrigues you, please watch that documentary. It goes into everything. It even shows you the new homeowners and how they sit down with the new homeowners. And the house lay dormant for so long, and then all of a sudden these little things started happening. Now, don't get me wrong, the homeowners that currently own it, they're paranormal investigators. They're ghost hunters. They bought the home because they're ghost hunters. And then, they say there was, they can feel a presence or little tiny things happen that can be explained. I think they can be explained. But nothing big like the Perron family until recently.